How you doing today, guys? Welcome back to another day of 7th grade math. This is Mr. Gomez, your favorite teacher in the whole world, and today we're gonna do a quick review, 7 questions about volume and surface area, since we're gonna be testing in my class tomorrow. Before we start, subscribe, turn that notification bell on, and other than that, let's ride. All right, so before we begin, we have formulas for all of this. I'm gonna write the formulas for volume of prisms and volume of pyramid. But for the sake of time, I'm going to show you how to do this the fast way. So let's get right into it. So number one, it says the dimensions of a rectangular prism. You got to start paying attention what they're giving you, because on this one, they don't give you any shapes. We know it's a rectangular prism because that's what it says right there. And with that information, I can go ahead and draw a rectangular prism and start filling in what I know. It says it has measures of 2.5 feet. It's 2.5 feet by 4.5 by 5. What is the volume of the rectangular prisms? For prisms, we're going to use this formula, big B times the height. Or length times width times height. That means the fast way is just multiply the three numbers. So if we have something like this and we have three numbers, I can say that this is 2.5 right here. And this is 4.5. And this is 5. So really, all I gotta do for this is multiply the three numbers and I'm done. Otherwise, you will have to find the area of the base, which the base is right here and also right here. So that will be uppercase B is the area of a rectangle, which is base times height, which in this case is 2.5 times 4.5. When we multiply these two numbers, you get 11.25. And then the formula says that once we have this, all we got to do is multiply by the height, and the height is going to be the distance between the two bases, which in this case is what? 5. So when we multiply this times 5, we get 11.5 times 5 gives us a total of 56.26. It is. I just didn't put the 2. Feet cube. That is my volume. Find the area of the base and then multiply by the height. And we're going to use that same formula for question number 2. And question number 2 is, in this case, not a rectangular prism, but a triangular prism. The formula is the same. The only thing that changes is going to be big B. Because in this case, we have big B is going to be the area of the base, which in this case is shaped like a what? Are we doing that one now? Number 2, yeah. Oh. The area of the base is shaped like a what? Triangle. So we're going to have to find the area of a triangle. So we're going to draw the triangle on the side and we're going to label it. So what is the base? Remember, for the area of a triangle is base times height divided by 2. What is the number that's going to go on the bottom? 9. And what is my height? 7. What about these two 12s? Are they vertical heights or they slanted? Slanted. We don't want those for the height. All the heights have to be vertical, which in this case is the zipper for the tent, not the walls. Okay? So we're going to use these two numbers, which is going to be 9 by 7 divided by 2, which is 63 divided by 2, which is what? 31.5 centimeters squared. So now big B is 31.5. 31.5 So now all we gotta do is find the height of the prism. Remember the formula. Big B times the height. We already know this. That is what? 31.5. And the height is gonna be the distance between the two bases. How far are these two things apart? How far are they apart? 14. So now all we gotta do is multiply 31.5 times 14. And when we multiply these two, what do we get? 441. 31.5 times 14 equals 441. And since this is volumes, is centimeters cube. Centimeters cube. So, do we really need those 12s right there? Not at all. So, the fast way to do this is actually just multiply the three numbers, 7, 9, and 14, and then divide by 2. That's the fast way if you're looking for the volume. Number 3 says the net of a triangular prism is shown below. What is the total surface area? So now we're not talking about volume, we're talking about area. So the thing that we know is this is a triangular prism. This is a triangular prism. So that means that the base is what shape? What shape is the base? If it's a triangular, it's a triangle right here. This is my base. So the other one is just like it. This is just like the tent. Look. But they unfolded it. So now we have two of those triangles. And if we're looking for area, we're going to be dealing with two triangles. And what are the shapes of the other three shapes? What are they? Rectangles. So for the triangles, area for a triangle is base times height divided by 2. So I'm going to draw this right here. What is the base? How wide is it? Right here. 6. And the height? 5. So base times height, this is 6 times 5 divided by 2. What's 6 times 5? 30. And half of 30 is 15. And this is what? Inches squared. So I can put a big 15 right here. And since the back of the tent is exactly like the front, that means that this is also 15. We just found the area for the triangle. So now we gotta look at the rectangles. So let's look at this right here. How wide is it? And how tall is it? So I'm gonna draw this right here. And this is a 4 by 11. So I'm going to find the area for this, which is just base times height, which is 11 by 4, which is just 44 inches squared. So I can put a big 44 in here. Now, what about this one? Is this the same? Is 4 tall and 11 wide. So yes, this is also 44. So I actually have 2 of this. What about the middle one? Is it the same as the pink one? Nope. We have different numbers right there. So let's see what we got. We know it's 4 inches tall. We know it's 4 tall. And we know that it is 6 wide. So for this one, I'm going to draw it over here. This is a 4 by 6. Again, base times height, which is 6 by 4, which is 24. So this right here is 24. Since we're looking for the total surface area, what do you think we have to do to all those numbers? To this, 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 and this. What do we do to find the total? Add them. We're going to add them all. So we're going to do 15 plus 15 plus 44 plus 44 plus 24. So this is going to be 30 plus 44 plus 44 plus 24. And the total is going to be 142 inches squared because it's area. Any questions on question number 3? Again, we have different formulas. One of them is for the triangle, base times height divided by 2. And the other one is base times height for the 3 rectangles, which 2 of the rectangles happen to be the same. Don't forget to add the second one at the end. So we add, that's why I put the big area numbers inside the shapes. That way at the end, I can just add everything up and not forget anything. Any questions so far? All right, moving on. A composite figure is made up of a what? Square. What else?
Rectangle.
And?
Right triangle. Right triangle.
Right triangle. The figure and dimensions in feet are in the diagram below. What is the area of the composite figure? So let's start with the square, because the square is right here. And that's just base times height, which is 4 times 4, which is? The square is 4 by 4. Base times height, 4 times 4 is 16. So this right here is 16. Then the next easy one is going to be my rectangle right here. How tall is the rectangle? 4. And how wide? 15. Again, same formula, base times height, which is 4 by 15, which is 60. 60 right there. And the middle one, we have, how wide is it? 4. And how tall is it? 4. So for the triangle, 4 by 4. But the formula is different though. Base times height, but then divide by 2. So 4 times 4 divided by 2. So 16, and half of 16 is 8. So this right here is 8. So what do we do with all 3 of them? We're going to add them. 16 by 16 plus 60, that's 76. Plus 8. $84. And this is feet. But since we're talking about area, this is feet squared. Any questions? We broke the shape down into different sections. We found the missing lengths because we didn't know the base for the triangle, but it was the same thing as the square below it. So make sure you find the missing lengths. At the end, we add all the areas together to get the total surface area. Formulas are on the board and also written right here. Base times height, base times height, base times height divided by 2. Depending on the shape that we're using. Any questions on number 4? All right, number 5. This figure is composed of a parallelogram and a trapezoid. We haven't done too many trapezoids, and we have yet another formula. What is the area in square centimeters? So let's see. Also, the other thing that we gotta find are gonna be missing lengths. So first of all, the parallelogram is this blue one right here. For the parallelogram, it's just like a rectangle, base times height. Do I know the base of the parallelogram?
Yeah.
What is it?
24.
24. Do I know how tall is it though?
No.
No. So we're gonna have to find the distance from here to here. We can come back in a little bit. Let's look at the trapezoid. The trapezoid is right here. And for the trapezoid, we have a different formula. Base 1 plus base 2. After we add it, we multiply times the height. Remember, the height is always vertical, standing up, not leaning, not sideways, not inclined, vertical. And then we're going to divide by 2. That's the formula. So let's look at this. Do we know base 1 right here? Do we know how long this is? How much is that? 42. Very good. Plus, do we know this distance right here? From here to here is what? Right there. It's given to you. Not 21, but 24. Okay? We're going to add that. Then we're going to multiply by the height. Do we know how tall this thing is? What does it say right there? 15. The height of the trapezoid is 15. Once we do the top, then we divide by 2. So let's do this. 42 plus 24 is what? 66 times 15. You first add, because that's a group. 66 times 15 is 990. And when you take half of that, you get 495 centimeters squared. So the trapezoid is 495. Any questions on how do I find the values for the trapezoid? Formula right here. Base 1 plus base 2. Add them first. Then multiply them by the height. And then divide it by 2. Now let's go back to the parallelogram. I know the base is 24, but I gotta find this height right here. I gotta find the height. Now let's find it. So I know the distance from here all the way down is what?
31.
31. I know the distance from here to the bottom is what? 15. So let me ask you, is the distance from here to this top right here also what?
31.
31. So how do I find the missing height right here? How do we find that difference? It's a keyword. I know all the way from the very bottom to the very bottom of the trapezoid to the very top of the parallelogram is what?
31.
I know from the bottom of the trapezoid to the top of the trapezoid is what?
31. Or 15.
15. So from the top of, very good. From the top of the trapezoid to the top of the parallelogram is the difference between the whole thing, right? So what do we do again? Subtract. What are we subtracting? 31 minus 15, which in this case is 16. So the height of the parallelogram is 16. So now all we gotta do for the parallelogram is multiply 24 times 16. And when we do that, we get 384 centimeters squared. So this right here is 324. Again, we're not to finding those missing lengths, guys, for any shape. We are either gonna add or subtract. We're not multiplying, we're not dividing by 2. We're either finding the difference or the composition of two lengths. If we're finding the difference of two lengths, we subtract them. If we're finding the composition of two lengths, we add them. What does the composition mean? Like if you have two rectangles and it looks like a stair. So you will have the total length of the stairs and then one step. Subtract those two differences and then you get the second step height. Things like that. We're not dividing by 2. We're not dividing any two numbers. We're not multiplying numbers because that will make it just bigger. We have to find differences or adding things. We're only adding or subtracting. That's it. So now, how do we find the total surface area? What do we do with these two numbers?
Subtract. Add.
Add 495 plus 324. That's 9. This is 11. And this is 8. So my total surface area is 819 centimeters squared. Any questions on number 5? All right, we got 2 more. We have another composite figure. We're looking for the shaded portion in feet. Only for the shaded. So what 2 shapes do we have? What 2 shapes do we have? We have a rectangle and what else?
Square.
We have a circle.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. So the area of a circle, radius times pi. And the area for the rectangle is just base times height. Let's look at the rectangle real quick. Do I know the base of the rectangle? Do I know the base of the rectangle? What is it? 9. And how tall is it? 11. 9 times 11 is 99. So this is 99 feet squared. Now let's look at the circle. What do we need for the circle? Radius or diameter? Look at the formula. Radius. So let's look at this line. This line goes from edge to edge. So what is that? Radius or diameter? Diameter. So the diameter is what? 40. So if the diameter equals 40, what is my radius? 20. So 20 times 20 times 3.14. This 2 makes 400 times 3.14. And when you multiply 400 times 3.14, you get 1256 feet squared. So this is for the circle. However, what am I looking for? I'm only looking for the shaded. I'm only looking for this, this. So that means, what do I have to do to that rectangle? Take it out. And if you take it out, what operation is that? Subtract. So we're going to take the rectangle away. So I'm going to take my circle and I'm going to take away the rectangle. And this is going to give us 1157 feet squared. So the area for only the blue shaded region is 1157 feet squared. Find the area for the 2 of them. Remember, for the circle you need radius. They give you the diameter. So take half of the diameter and you get the radius. Any questions on this one? All right, let's move on to the last one. We have a pyramid with the square base. That means the base is a square. The side length is 11 for the base. The volume is that. We're looking for the height. So that means we're going to have to work it backwards. So you got to pay attention. I'm going to write down the formula. So volume equals uppercase B, which stands for area of the base, times the height, and then divide by 3. That's the formula. And we're going to use this formula to work it backwards. First, let's go ahead and write down what we know. Do we know the volume? What is the volume?
605.
605. Do we know the area of the base? No, but can we find it? This is my base right here. And it's what shape is the base? The square. How do you find the area of the square? Base times height, which is 11 times 11, which is 121 centimeters squared. So now, do we know uppercase B now?
Yes.
What is it?
121.
121. All right. So do we know H?
No.
No. So we're going to substitute the values that we know into the formula. So instead of V, what am I going to put? 605. Instead of B, what am I going to put? No, B.
11. 121.
121. We just found the area of the base. If the area of the base is given to you, you don't need to find it. This case is not given to me. And then we don't know H. And then we just bring the divided by 3 along. So now we got to work it backwards to solve for H. So let's look at the right side. 121H divided by 3. What is closer to the H? The 121 or the 3?
121.
So the farther away is the 3. What is the 3 doing? So we're going to have to do the opposite, which is multiply by 3. What I do to one side, do to the other side. Notice, I'm not going to multiply 121 times 3. I'm just doing it right here so I can cross it out. Make your line right here and bring this along. 121H and then 605 times 3 gives us 1815. So now we have a one-step equation. What is the 121 doing with the H? And the opposite of multiply is? So we're going to divide by 121 and divide by 121. This will cancel out, giving you H only. And when you do TiVo, you get 15. So the height is 15. And in this case, they're centimeters. So this is what you do. 18, 15 goes inside. 121 goes outside. Does 121 go into 1? No. Into 18? No. Into 181? Yes. One time. 121. You subtract and you get 60. Bring down the 5. 121 goes into 605 5 times. 5 times 121 is 605. When you subtract, you get 0. So that's how I got this number. And remember, the height is always vertical, straight up, not leaning against, not sideways, not inclined, not slanted, vertical. So the height is 15 centimeters. And that's how you work it backwards. Well, I hope that you learned something today. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Other than that, that's going to wrap it up for this one. Watch this video again if you're my student, so that way tomorrow you can take the test and pass. Other than that, that's going to wrap it up. And let's ride.